Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is episode 5 of Building Threat Detection Lab from Scratch series. My name is Saksham Tushar and I'm a threat detection engineer. And in today's episode, we'll be building a multi-SIEM setup. So what I mean by multi-SIEM setup is we built Elastic and Splunk based threat detection labs in our previous episodes, but both of them lock you out of using any other SIEM in the same project, right? But we don't want that kind of a limitation. We want this ability to add on multiple SIEMs or multiple security platforms so that we are not limited by what a single platform has to offer, right? In terms of capability, in terms of analytics, in terms of content, right? Different SIEMs have different features and what they offer. So we want to have a setup where we can integrate or choose to integrate or keep on integrating different platforms as we like, and we also want an ability to keep on testing new platforms whenever required. So we'll use the same elastic setup that we built in the last episode, right? We built an elastic based security or threat detection lab where we had query, elastic EDR, sysmon, packet beat, and Windows native logging flowing through elastic agent to elastic on-prem. So this was the entire setup that we built. Today we'll add on a separate management layer, right? So what this management layer is basically is it's a log management platform. It helps you route and focuses on routing of data. So Cribl is the name of the solution, and it's a really popular solution that you can use. It gives you easy management via UI, and you can also deploy it as a container, and it also has a community edition for you to use, right? So a lot of features. We'll quickly get started and see how this works, and then we'll try to connect a few of the other destinations, right? It could be Splunk, or it could be Grafana, Wazoo, or we could add a new platform such as New Relic, right? A New Relic is an observability platform that we can add to this stack, and we'll use New Relic's community edition to basically ingest data. So New Relic's community edition gives you 100 GB of data ingestion stored for or retained for about 30 days. So this could be a good platform for you to ingest your data and leave it there, because this is available as SaaS, right? So you can access your SIEM logs from anywhere, even when you're traveling. You don't need to carry your entire SIEM with you. So this seems interesting, and we'll try to set up something like this. As I mentioned, we'll build on the previous Elastic setup that we had. So if you have not built the Elastic based threat detection lab, I highly encourage you go back to previous episode. That would be episode 4, where we have built the Elastic based threat detection lab from scratch, and we'll use that to build the other components today. So we'll quickly get started and jump into the VM. Okay, so we have our same old 3 virtual machines up and running. Let me go back to my logging server and check what is the status of our containers. Okay, so we have Elasticsearch, Kibana, and Elastic Agent up and running. Let us go to the browser and check what is the status of Fleet then. Port 1, not 16, and port would be 5601. Okay, so we have our Fleet server up. Windows is unhealthy. Let us troubleshoot this. Let us go to our Windows box, log in. Let us restart the EDR service here. Let us restart the Elastic Agent service and see if it has an effect. Agent will restart, Elastic endpoint also will restart. Okay, both are restarted. Let's go back to our server and refresh this. Okay, so it is reporting now healthy state. Data is incoming. Let us validate. Okay, so event.ingested is the field that would give you the timestamp when the data was ingested. So 2:12, right? 2:12 p.m. 2:12 p.m. Correct. So data is ingested at the moment. So data is ingested now. Okay, so let us now see how this actually works at behind the scenes, right? So let's go to Fleet. Let's go to settings. So your Fleet server actually, or basically your Fleet agents, Elastic agents, pull configuration from Fleet server, and they also report heartbeat to Fleet server. Fleet server is not responsible for collecting data, but the agents are actually responsible to send data directly to an Elasticsearch tenant, which is hosted here. So the outputs govern that what is the destination to which the agents will send the data to, right? And you can see this is an Elastic IP. So it's an IP of where my Elasticsearch is hosted, and the port number is of Elasticsearch as well. So this is there. In the free tier of Elastic, you don't get an ability to actually do a per agent policy. What I mean by per agent policy is, or per integration policy is, if you go to Fleet and then you go to agent policy, I cannot ask for this policy to send data to a separate destination and this policy to send data to a separate destination, because this is a free tenant and a community edition. So what they have to offer is you can only send data to one destination. So if you are changing it, it will be changed for all of them. But if you go to settings and you go to outputs, you can go to edit. You will realize you can, in the same output, you can add another URL to which this can send data. So not, instead of adding another output that where you can specify where you want to output to, you can actually specify another URL to which the Fleet agent will send output to, and that will be perfectly working alongside it. So there will be two copies of data now, one sent to our Elasticsearch and another sent to our specified URL. Correct. So this is what we actually want. This should, but you can understand this should be Elastic backward compatible solution, right? Because now we are sending data from Elasticsearch, it expects this URL to be also to be Elasticsearch. So we should have a solution that is backward Elastic compatible. And this is where we have, or basically I have understood that the Cribl works fine and perfectly integrates well. So what we'll do is we'll go to Cribl. And you need to basically sign up on Cribl. Let's say login. Okay, you need to enter an email address. I'll enter. I already have an account from another ID, so what I'll do is I'll create something new with using some other ID. Sign up, right? Continue. And I need a strong password, so I will enter something. Continue. Let's save it. Okay, asking for details. has prompted us to verify my email ID. I'll just verify it using my phone. Refresh. Okay, it worked. I'll just mention the YouTube channel name here, and we'll say region to be US East. We'll create an organization. Perfect. So as part of this community edition, what you really get is a stream engine, an edge engine, a search engine, and a lake, right? Lake offers you to store your data of about 50 GB and also gives you ability to search. What we really are concerned about is the stream platform, and stream is something that we will be using. As you sign up here, what you get is basically an account that allows you to ingest up to 1 TB or transfer up to or route up to 1 TB of data per day, which is huge amount of data. You basically get an ability to also run a local version of Cribl via container. So what we'll do is we'll quickly set up Cribl as a container on the same logging infrastructure that we have, the same virtual machine. And for to simplify this process, of course, I've done a Docker Compose file hosted. So you can, I'll give you that link in the description, and you can also go ahead and use that to quickly get your container up and running. Okay. This is the Docker Compose that I have. I'll just quickly download this. Okay. Go to downloads. Okay, before running it, what we should do is basically also add a port that will be used by this engine to consume data from Elastic, right? So let us edit it before running. We will open a port, say a random port. Let's do 9111 9111, and we'll save it. Docker compose -f, okay, up -d, and this should be so it's again pulling the same containers, the same old process, right? Pull containers, create the configuration, the configurable network volumes, and then run the container with the configuration supplied. So we'll let it finish. We'll give it a minute. Perfect. So quick and fast. We should be having Cribl now running. So we'll do docker ps just to check, and we have Cribl. Our port is also open. Let's try to access Cribl on port 9000. And there you go. We have Cribl up and running. Let's do admin, and we'll use the same account that we used, same credentials that we used to create the new account. So we'll do okay. Let's move ahead. Change password. We'll change the password of the local tenant. Okay, so Cribl is up and running. As you can see, it has an intuitive UI. So what we'll do is we'll go to routing and quick connect. And you can see we have a pane of sources and a pane of destinations, and we can configure our sources and destination here in quick connect panel. So let us start by configuring the source. We'll click on add source and we will select Elastic. There's already some default source created. You can see one mentioned beside that circle. You can do select as existing as well to that, but we'll create a new one. So we'll create a new, we'll say Elastic input as the input ID. Address should be 0.0.0.0, doesn't matter. The port to ingest, right? The port, it will be the port that we opened. So it will be 91111. API endpoint will be same, tags nothing. We'll click on next. Let us not put any authentication on it. TLS also disabled, since all of this is local and in our infrastructure, nothing is exposed to internet. Okay. We'll click on save, and now you see we have a source. So now that we have a source, let us configure our Elastic to send data to this source. We'll click on action. We'll add another URL. We'll add the URL with the port that we opened, and we'll click save and apply settings. We'll apply to 3 agent policies and 2 agents. Save and deploy works with us. Okay, now these 2 hosts should appear here. If you go back to agents, everything should be healthy. Okay, it has again become unhealthy. Let us give it a minute to come back. It might still be syncing the new policy that we pushed. Yep, so it came back up. We will go back to our Cribl system and we'll see and this is in disable state, right? We need to connect it to a destination to enable it. So what we'll do is we'll temporarily connect it to default. We'll say pass through. We don't want any routing pipeline or any configuration to be applied. We just simply want to ingest data from source to destination. Click on save, and this is live now. Let's go to capture and see if it is able to view some data that might be coming in from the Elasticsearch. Perfect. As you can see, we have events reporting here in Cribl, right? So that means the data is being received by Cribl and the data is also flowing to our Elasticsearch. And now we have ability to add destination. So if you click on add destination, you'll see we have lots of different destination modules available out of the box. You can choose anything that you might have deployed in your infrastructure and use it to ingest the same data that you might have. For our setup, what we'll do is we'll start by setting up the first integration with Splunk, since we already have Splunk set up. Let us go to our containers and see if Splunk is up and running. We'll do clear and we'll do docker ps. We don't see Splunk. Let's docker ps -a and see if we have Splunk THOR-LAB, right? We'll just copy it and we will docker start docker, I think docker run. Wait, Okay, our Splunk should be up and running, so we'll just clear it out. Let's say docker log Splunk. Let's do docker ps to check the status. Health is starting. Let us give it a few seconds to start up. Meanwhile, let's go to New Relic and sign up. Okay, New Relic is basically an observability platform. So what we'll do is we'll just sign up into their demo tenant, go to pricing. We get 100 GB of free data ingest per month, right? Which is great at this point. So get started free. Okay, you need a email to sign up, right? So we'll just do, let us see if it will accept this. Okay, it accepted the email. I'll verify it, the email ID again from my mobile phone. Okay, it is not working for some reason. Let us try doing it here. New Relic login. Get started free. Let us do just login and see if my login works directly. Unable to login. Let's try to use Google. See if my login is taken from here. Okay, it worked. So I think I can log in via SSO or Google authentication. And this is the UI that you will be greeted with. What we'll do now is go to all capabilities and we'll tune this. Okay, the platform, and you have so many capabilities that you can do from this platform, right? Monitor all of these things: mobile, Kubernetes, logs, networks, whatever you're interested in. What we'll do is we'll go back to add data and we'll search for technology Cribl. Right, you will see a partner plugin for Cribl. We'll click on this and we will, so we have already set up Cribl, so we'll skip this step. Generate and copy license key. We'll go to our logging server and we'll start configuring the Cribl. Okay, we need to add a new destination. We'll say New Relic events and we need to enter an output ID. We'll say New Relic output US region account ID, right? This we will get from New Relic itself. Let's access Cribl from here, 68, so that we can copy and paste 1.14, 1.4, 1.16, sorry, 1.16 is to 9,000. Let's go to data routes, sorry, quick connect, add destination, New Relic, New Relic output account ID. Let's copy the license key and put it in the API key first. Now let's go to, in the URL you can see there is an account ID. We'll just copy this and we'll paste this. Event type, we'll say SIEM logs, or we'll say agent logs. We will click on next. Let it be, we'll let the default be there. Click on save. And now we can attach this to this, right? This should be fairly click and drag and drop. So we'll click on pass through again, click on save, and we'll go to capture here, and let's see if it is able to capture, right? It is able to capture, and that is visible on Cribl send. Let's go to new relic, and let's go to query your data, and let us refresh this. We have agent logs. This should be same as the event type that you have configured here. So you go to agent logs, and we see a spike of events that are ingested. Let's go to query builder, and you can see we have ran a search of around last 30 minutes. Let us do select star from agent logs and then run the Splunk query. Right, so let us do table. So we have all the logs ingested here, right? So if you see, the messages are also getting ingested. Wherever possible, it is trying to parse the data as well. We can configure more parsers. If you want, you can go ahead and do the parsing, configuration, retention, everything in this solution. But now we can see that we have successfully passed Elasticsearch data to New Relic. What we'll do is we'll also add a new destination called Splunk. We'll say Splunk output, and we'll enter an address, right? 192.168.1.16 S2 9997. Okay, 9997 is already in bottom port. We'll click on next, no TLS, no timeout. We'll leave everything as default. We'll click on save, and we will also add this connection, pass through, save. Now let us go to our Splunk 1.16 at 8000. Let us go to search, skip, we'll do star. Let us search in last 15 minutes. Perfect. As you can see, we have got events being ingested. 111 event in last 15 minutes, 141. So it keeps on increasing. That means the events are ingested in real time, and the source you can see is Cribl, right? Because the data is now coming from Cribl. So as you can see, we can keep on adding destinations here, right? You can add Azure, you can add S3, you can add different sources, such as different destinations, such as another SIEMs that you might have, for example Sentinel, Dataset, or CrowdStrike, Falcon, Logscale. You can even do a webhook call, right? All of this is possible, and this is a really intuitive way to manage all your data and not be limited by just one platform. So I now have all the data stored in my Elastic cluster here. So if you go to Docker PS, I have basically data in 3 different places. One of them is Splunk, another is Elastic, and third one is New Relic. And I'm not just limited by one platform. I have same data into different platforms, and I can use whichever one I want. Also, I can use New Relic as a SaaS solution. Since it's a SaaS solution, I can use it even while traveling or on the go. Even if I don't have this lab machine available, I still have the data available via that solution. So it's a really cool way to not be limited and keep on extending your threat detection lab via different tools, right? If you are really interested, you can also add on Wazoo, you can add on Security Onion, you can keep on adding tools and platforms and keep on experimenting to understand how and what differs in each one of them. So I'll just wrap this video here. I hope this was helpful and this will be beneficial in your journey of building an own threat detection lab. I will come up with a new video next time where we'll start to do more integrations with case management SOAR solutions, and we'll see how a functional SOC or a functional threat detection lab could be built and extended into a more of a SOC lab, right? You want to test out integrations, different SOAR capabilities, so that you can test them before you put them into production, right? So we'll start doing all of that integration and start adding more tools to this budding stack, right? So stay tuned. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much.